advice for bankruptcy attorneys. I've been practicing less than 3 years. Tara Salinas, board member at NACBA. Tara, how you doing?
I'm great, Phil. How are you?
Good to see you. You've been practicing 21 years, and we chatted earlier about, getting in and the breakdowns of being a new bankruptcy attorney, just not knowing certain things.
Yeah.
And you shared this story when you would ask the listserv, hey, what about this? And the bankruptcy attorney would respond, or a bankruptcy would respond and say, just refer them to me. Right? Because if you're asking that question, forget about it. You got a long way to go on that road, right?
Right.
So let's unpack this. How do these attorneys who are getting in the industry get up to speed fast? And what would you advise? And how did you do it? And looking back, what do you wish you knew?
Getting into bankruptcy, first things first, get a mentor, get a network, start talking to other bankruptcy attorneys. I think this is one of the most generous communities I've ever been part of. People want to help, they want to teach, they want to share, because this is a small practice. It's a very small community, and we all want to treat our clients well. We want to make sure whoever's doing the work is helping the people in the way that they should. So first step, always find your network.
So let's pause there for a second.
Yeah.
Finding a network. So you're brand new. Let's just pretend you're 22, just out of college. You're not sure what to do. I'm going to get in the bankruptcy practice. How do you find that network?
Sure.
Real practical advice. What would that look like for you?
You know what? I mean, obviously there's NACBA. I'm a huge advocate, as I should be. I'm on the board. Join NACBA. It's a great community. It'll start to connect you not only with people nationwide, but people who live in your district who practice where you practice. So I think that's number one. Number two, look for local CLEs. Again, this is a national practice. It's federal law. It is absolutely something that varies on a case-by-case basis based on where you are practicing. So there are little quirks everywhere. So look for local CLE programs. Talk to the presenters. Introduce yourself. I have a mentee that I'm working with right now, and she reached out to every single one of the trustees and said, hey, would you mind if I sat in on one of your 341 meetings?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, of course. And what a great way to build rapport, and then to start asking them, who are the best practitioners? Who should I talk to? Those trustees know who the bankruptcy practitioners in their district are, and who you should talk to and who you shouldn't, who you should emulate and who you shouldn't. I think that's a great way to start.
Great. Okay, good. So find a mentee, build a community, whether it's local or online. Next step for a brand new bankruptcy attorney.
Study. It's funny. I always hear bankruptcy attorneys say, read the code. Don't read the code, because it is so boring and it's so convoluted that you're going to be wading through mud, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So from my perspective, get the NCLC manual on consumer bankruptcy and use that as your study guide, because it's going to walk you through a lot of the information you need. Then as it refers to different code sections, go read those. But to just sit down and try to read the code cover to cover, that's not my recommendation. Find resources that will actually be useful.
Read the NCLC code.
Yeah, read the NCLC manual.
Yeah, manual. Oh, that's right. Don't read the code.
Right, don't.
Next thing.
Next thing, I think, take a volunteer case. I mean, every jurisdiction has some sort of a pro bono program. They're always looking for lawyers to help. Take a pro bono case. They're generally going to be lower income cases, so you're not going to have means test issues. Again, they likely have a form, or again, use the NCLC manual. It's going to have an intake form. Look at the schedules. The petition and schedules tells you what you need to gather from the client, what you need to disclose. Those are great ways to get started. That's how I got started. I took a volunteer case from our local Metro volunteer lawyers, and I ran with it. So,
see, the nice thing about legal aid and taking a volunteer case is the pressure's off a little bit, because you're not showing up for the client who's paying you $2,000 or $3,000, and they're expecting you to know all the ins and outs, and you don't. The pressure's off. It reminds me of a time when I studied Spanish in college, and I practiced speaking to kids was so much easier than speaking to adults, because I was always worried, I'm not speaking right. But I was around I lived in this house with 8 brothers and sisters, and I would practice so much, and it just didn't matter to me. And my Spanish went through the roof. So the same exact thing. If you're taking If you take a legal aid case, 1 a month, 2 a month, 3 a month, you have the time, like,
Right.
especially for new bankruptcy practice. It's gonna streamline and catapult you in your learning because you're gonna have questions to actually ask as opposed to just,
Medical.
wondering what's going on. Okay, what question should I be asking?
Right. Right.
No, that's great. So, okay, so we're talking get a mentor, NCLC manual, legal aid, get some legal aid. Anything else?
You know what? This is funny, and the way I taught myself Chapter 13 was, and I don't recommend this. I went and pulled cases of people that I respected in the community and started just reviewing them. How do you do it? I think it's a lot better to just ask. People will share case
Mhm.
numbers instead of just trying to dig through random docket entries. But go look at cases. Look at how other people fill out the schedules. Ask them to share that with you. Ask your mentor or someone in your community, "Hey, would you be willing to look at this petition and tell me what I'm missing?"
Yeah.
Um, Again, attorneys in this field are incredibly generous with their time. Don't abuse it. Be willing to help. How can I help you? It looks like you got a brief coming up. Can I help with that? Whatever it is, be willing to give as much as you take, but get help there.
I mean,
Um,
the practicality is the faster a new attorney can learn the law and handle this, the
of
faster their income is gonna go up.
course.
So, I mean, it's like, whatever it takes to meet. So you have a mentor. You could find the best bankruptcy attorney in the area. You go to them. Hey, what can I do to support you? I have questions about the debtor practice. I'm a new bankruptcy attorney. What can I do to support you? I'd like to know your best 3 cases I can read, and then I'm going to come back to you for questions. What can I do to support you?
Right.
Right? I mean, because there are things that you can do for that debtor practice. And practically, a lot of debtor attorneys, they're going to retire and they don't have anyone to hand the practice off to. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from a debtor attorney, I thought my son was gonna take over the practice. Well, guess what? It doesn't always happen, right?
Right.
And it's a
Right.
huge win for someone to be able to hand off a practice
Sure.
to someone new because they can keep their income, they've worked so hard, they've trailblazed, their phone rings, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I
Tara,
think
you mentioned go
oh,
ahead, what
go
were you gonna
ahead.
say?
Well, I was going to say, I think the other piece is you have skills that they need, right? If you're approaching a bankruptcy attorney who's been in practice for 30 years, they're not doing digital marketing maybe. They're maybe not talking to clients about, hey, talk to me about how crypto works. I mean, there are ways that we can benefit from each other. Just because I know a lot about bankruptcy doesn't mean I know about what's happening in the culture that you know about, right? So there's other things to share. I think that's really
I
critical.
think it's a very good point. Terry, you mentioned about earlier on a call about how you would research. You saw the listserv
Mhm.
and you didn't know the answer, but you would research the answer to that listserv
Yeah.
to gain more knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Share that. And would you do that again?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I can remember joining our local listserv and people would be talking about complex Chapter 13 issues or transfer issues or, fraudulent transfers. And I'd be like, I don't even, like, half of those words I don't even know what they mean. Right. And
Right.
so I would just listen to those conversations. And then I would see people ask questions that were maybe a little bit more basic questions, but no one was responding because they're busy taking care of their fraudulent transfer case that's like blowing up. And so I would take those questions that maybe weren't as difficult and I would go research them because at that point I had more time than work. And so I would go do the research and then make the contribution by saying, hey, I looked at this. I think it might be this. And here's a case that might be relevant.
Hmm.
I mean, one, you establish yourself as someone who's willing to step in and help. Two, you're learning something all the time. And then that's kind of for me how I built my reputation of being knowledgeable about bankruptcy. I didn't know anything about bankruptcy, but I was willing to go and do the work and research. And if you're willing to do that, you're going to learn quick.
So great. Well, mentor, NCLC manual, legal aid, pull case files, talk to mentors. You just said answer questions on listserv. Now you're running the listserv in Colorado.
Yep, I've been running the Colorado listserv for about 15 years. And again, I love it. It gives me an opportunity to give back to the community as well. You know what? Again, attend CLE, whether that's locally or,
That's right.
I'm a huge advocate, get involved in NACBA. People have ideas outside of your practice area, outside of your practice, like geographic area, that could pay huge dividends in your area. I can remember Oh my gosh, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I went to a boot camp and learned things that people were doing other places, brought them home, and it was like mind blowing. You'd mentioned earlier about some case decisions that I have up on my website. Those published decisions came from bringing ideas from other districts into our districts and litigating them here and winning those cases. And so you can really expand your practice and expand your reputation locally by getting involved nationally as well. So I wouldn't say no to that.
Tara, thanks for your time. This is great information.
Thanks, Bill. Have a great day.